On February 16, 1903, the curtain went up for the first time at the Majestic Theater. In its heyday, people like Ethel Barrymore, W.C. Fields, and the Marx Brothers graced its stage. Well, that was then, and with the passing of time, the jewel of Boston's theater district became dulled with neglect. Well, now things are about to change for this landmark building. It will become home of the Actors Enclave. That's the title now. We'll get the new title in a moment. Joining us this morning are two very distinguished actors and members of the Actors Enclave, E.G. Marshall and Austin Pendelton. Good morning, E.G. Nice to have you here, Austin. Nice to have you here. You two are not strangers to this area.
Nor to each other. I played his father, I don't know how many times.
Well, here at the Colonial Theater in the Little Foxes in 1968.
That was before you directed it on Broadway with Elizabeth Taylor?
That's right.
Yeah? Isn't that great? But you are part of the Williamstown Theater?
Yes, that's
regularly?
right. Yeah. E.G.'s worked there, too.
I know. Yeah, I know. And this whole idea of taking the Majestic and redoing it and bringing this company to Boston is very special.
Yes, you know, we played the Wilbur and the Colonial, and it was always boarded up, the Majestic. Then it became the Saxon, and they desecrated it by putting plywood in the marble lobby, covering up the murals and the marvelous marble. So anyway, Emerson College owns it now and is going to rehabilitate it, and it'll be used by other groups than the Actors Enclave. But it'll be such a joy for us to get into this magnificent theater once it's restored and rehabilitated, to play with the people who have been there in the past. Can you imagine?
Great, the ghosts of the past.
Yes.
We have not heard of the Actors Enclave for a reason. You've had a real low profile, haven't you?
Yes, we're looking for a home. We're looking for a place, a base. And finally, when Emerson College offered us the Majestic Theater, we said yes. So we've been here many times. June 6th, we're going to have a concert at John Hancock Hall, June 6th in the evening. And some of us are going to be there, like Julie Harris and Beatrice Straight and Austin and Eli and Annie. And we're going to do concert readings, and afterwards there'll be a champagne reception, and anyone can come. Just call the theater and find out how to buy a ticket. The prices will be reasonable.
You know, I think Boston, we need to be a little slap on the wrist here. I mean, we often take our theater for granted, and it's a very special part of our culture. This is so important to have this kind of a company for young actors on the way up and for real professionals like yourselves to perform, right, Austin?
Yeah. Well, it's hard for actors in the theater now because New York isn't what it used to be. It's still possible to do a lot of interesting things in New York, but there aren't the outlets there that there used to be, and it's been taken over by imports a lot.
The British invasion, right?
Yeah, which isn't their fault. There's just some sort of a vacuum's been created there that I mean, it would take an hour to explore why, but the result of all that is
too darn expensive to mount a production in New York when you start talking in millions of dollars. And to see one. Now, I understand here that the university students go and pay $20 or $30 to see the Celtics play. I said, well, certainly that's all we would charge to see a play and attract an audience, make it possible for them and economically possible to mount in this gorgeous theater.
Take the fear away that we might have, that young Boston actors, Massachusetts, New England actors will not get an opportunity to be a part of this. That's not true, is it?
That's not true.
That's part of the thrust of this, right?
It's part of it's also going to be terribly good for the students at Emerson, I would think. I mean, there will be a real kind of an interplay between the students at Emerson and us.
Now, once you move here, the title changes, the name changes of the group, right? It is called then, you want me to tell you or do you want to tell me?
You tell me.
The National Actors Enclave, right? National Actors Enclave instead of Actors Enclave.
We're thinking of it to be a national theater because the idea is that the productions would be done here and then they would move to other places.
See, most major cities in this country have an art center, or they have a place where theater can be done. And I was talking with some important people in Washington about this, and I said, you know, Detroit, Murder City, has an art center. Los Angeles, that used to be a desert, has an art center. San Francisco, I was going on down the line. I said, Columbus, Ohio has. I said, now here, at the Athens of the West, Boston doesn't have.
What would the difference be then in you and the American Rep, Brewstein's place? What would be the difference?
I don't know there would be a difference. We wouldn't be doing the same plays at the same time.
So that's
but I see what Kevin Kelly said, what about the competition that's there? And I said, that's great, because audiences grow by what they feed on. You give them good theater, and they'll go and see all the good theater that there is.
I think
the competition will be
to
good.
all the companies which are here now already, all the small companies which are very good here. But anything in a community that helps to just expand and create a sense of theater going helps every theater. That's what's wrong in New York right now. is the audience has fallen out of the habit of going to the theater.
It's become a very transient kind of event, hasn't it,
Yeah,
for people from out of town
Yeah.
to do. But it's also interesting that in England and in other countries, there is this wonderful learning ground and great place for young actors to go to get that stage experience. And E.G., you must have feelings about that. Having done episodic television, have you done enough stage work to suit you?
No. I would only do stage work if it, all things being equal. If the play, the people with it, and so on, I would only do theater. But I don't look down on television or films or radio. I've done them all.
Sure.
But I would prefer to be on stage rather than be on the tube or the screen.
True for you too, Austin.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think it's true for all fine actors. Let me tell everyone that this event that is happening on June 6th at 7:30 at John Hancock Hall, Julie Harris, Ann Jackson, Eli Wallach, great people. It's incestuous. You, Maureen Stapleton, all you guys are such good pals, I know,
Just
right?
because I love her, you call it incestuous, huh?
You know what I mean. All right, but that's an effort to raise money for the Actors Enclave, and we are so thrilled that you are here, and we're looking forward to all this great production you'll be bringing us. And hats off to Emerson for kicking in $2.5 million to make this
Yes,
happen.
right.
They should be congratulated, right?
Yeah, and the other corporations in the city will be asked to contribute to this art center. It's going to be a big thing in Boston. It's not just the Majestic Theater, but the Opera House, and they're going to rehabilitate other theaters and every building that's going up. Now, the John Hancock Hall is a marvelous hall. It's 1,100-seat theater, and they use it all day long, all night
For
long.
seminars and all kinds of
It's a wonderful thing to use year-round, day-round, week-round, around the clock. A great theater, and that's what the Majestic will be like ultimately on Trevon Street.
I want to thank you both very much for being here.
How old is the baby?
5.5 months.
Oh, wonderful.
That is great. It really is.